Good morning and welcome to Boston Outlook. I'm your host, Julie Mara. Joining us this morning is Kerry Goldman. She is the president and founder of Paws for a Cure. Kerry, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Actually, I should welcome you back to the program because we did have you on last year, right around this time.
You sure did.
And it is that time of year again to gear up for the 2011 Paws for a Cure walk. That's coming up on May 15th, which we will get into much more detail about later on. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you founded Paws for a Cure.
My name is Kerry Goldman. I'm the president and founder of Paws for a Cure. We are a animal charity. We help out dogs and cats in need of financial assistance for veterinary care. I started Paws for a Cure in memory of my dog, Nico, that lost his battle with cancer in 2007. From there, we've been able to help many dogs and cats in need of veterinary care.
So you've put this together 4 years ago. How long had your dog suffered from cancer?
He had a few different forms of cancer. He had melanoma and adenoma over 6 years with surgeries and treatment, and he eventually lost his battle with cancer April 2nd, 2007. One thing that's changed for Paws for a Cure in 2011, we were originally a canine cancer charity, but because of the economy, we have changed to helping dogs and cats for all illnesses and injuries, because no animal should have to suffer because we can't afford the treatment. So we've expanded, which is good. Yeah.
So that's a positive outcome that you've, kind of grown over the last 4 years and expanded. You've been together since 2008 as an organization, is that correct?
That is correct.
What other improvements have you seen over the past few years?
Well, originally we started as a small nonprofit, which we still are, but we started off by helping another organization. Now we've branched out on our own so we can help who we need to, and there's been improvements. We've had veterinary offices contact us looking for help, and we've helped out quite a few. And things have changed over the years. More people have become aware of there's organizations out there that can help. Not only there's Paws for Cure, but there's other organizations out there as well for different forms of financial assistance.
Now, you guys are located here in Wakefield, Massachusetts?
We are, but we help throughout the United States. We don't help just local. We do help local, but we also help throughout the United States of who is needed.
Yeah, I saw an extensive list of other states that you've been involved with.
That's correct.
Did it start out just from Massachusetts?
No. We originally started helping another foundation. We were under their umbrella at the beginning, and they help canine cancer throughout the United States. And now that we're on our own, we were able to branch out and help as well to veterinary offices throughout the United States.
So you've had the first-hand experience of dealing with a pet that had gone through cancer.
That's correct.
What was that like for you?
It was emotionally draining. Watching. I don't consider my dogs dogs. They are my children with fur. Watching your child, fur child or human child, it rips your heart out because you want to be able to do everything possible to help them. And if you don't have the money to help them, you don't know what to do at that point. So you reach out for help, and the help sometimes is not there. So we want to make sure that, we're able to help those that cannot.
Were you able to make it through a few rounds of treatments before you realized that you were struggling with the payments?
I was actually living paycheck to paycheck at the time, and what happened was I sold everything that I had that I did not use to get help because there wasn't organizations out there. There was a few, but I didn't have the resource at that time to know about them, and I needed to do whatever I needed possible to make the money to help him through what he needed.
Why do you think there's such a gap in funds for people who may be going through similar situations?
I think it is most people don't know about the organizations that are out there. We rely on donations from the public, and we have our website out there, www.paws4acure.org, where people can make donations to help animals in need. But people don't know it exists unless you're in need of finding it. That's how I found out about other organizations, because I was in a jam and didn't know what to do, so I went out looking for it. So there are organizations out there that can help if need be.
Did you actually receive help from one of those organizations?
Not at the time.
You didn't?
No, not at that time. The organizations are more out there now. This was back in 2001 and 2002 when it all started. But now there's more organizations out there that can help.
So even in that 10-year span, I mean, you think that everything was so, up to speed with what's going on in the world as the century turned in 2000, 2001, and still there was a huge need for something like this.
There definitely was, and there were a few organizations out there, but I didn't know how to find them at the time. And now that I know, and I'm working on it to help America aware that there's organizations out there that can help, that the animal should not have to suffer because they can't afford it. We are out here to help.
And now people have health insurance. Most people have benefits, or they have access to some sort of assistance if they don't have an actual health insurance plan. But what about for pets? Do they offer something like that?
There are health insurance companies out there, veterinary care insurance out there, and you have to get it when the dog is healthy. There are restrictions with it. I'm not really familiar with the health insurance side of it, but I do know that they are great. They can cover a lot of things, but usually not pre-existing conditions. If you don't have the insurance and your dog is ill and you try to get the insurance, I know there is some stipulations that they have with it.
So you can't make it almost like a retroactive thing. You kind of have to be proactive.
That's correct.
And buy it in advance, I guess.
That's correct. And what I'm being told is the best time to get is when you first get the dog or the cat.
That sounds like a good tip in case somebody listening may have just gotten a pet.
That's correct.
Now, do the treatments for dogs and cats when they're going through an illness like your dog Nico did with his cancer, do they mimic the treatments that are given to humans?
Yes, they do. And not only that, is a lot of people don't realize when animals are getting their the treatments for different diseases, it also helps to educate the medical community of how to help humans as well. So the animals use a lot of the same medications as humans do.
Very true.
They do, and I know with I have another dog, she has liver disease, she has thyroid disease, she's had a stroke, she's had other things. So she takes a lot of human medications and supplements, and it's amazing to me that I did not know about these things years ago.
It's funny because I actually, when I was in high school, I worked at a pharmacy. And there would be prescriptions for dogs. And at first I was like, is this a real thing? Is this a joke?
I go through Walgreens. Walgreens has a prescription plan for families that you can include your pet.
So they actually offer something where you could, incorporate the dog into your family?
Oh, we sure do. And I love that. I save so much money on prescriptions every month.
Because you do have to pay out-of-pocket cost, right?
That's correct.
So a pet insurance plan that you may have bought doesn't cover the medication.
I don't believe so, but don't quote me on that because I'm not quite sure.
Well, maybe there are different plans out there.
May be.
From my personal experience, working at the pharmacy, I know that people would pay cash for their dogs, and
correct.
Sometimes they were in and out of there, very frequently, especially if the dog had a cancer or some sort of ongoing illness.
That's correct. And a lot of the pharmacies that people don't realize, your prescription you're getting for your pets, they're human prescriptions. And the pharmacies cover prescriptions that are just not, that are human related as well. They don't, if it's something that's for a pet only, they don't usually cover that.
So if it is a human medication, then they'll cover it? Is that what you're saying?
Usually if they have it in stock, that it's the same medication that they cover for humans, you can get your prescription filled at a pharmacy.
Oh, so you don't have to seek out somewhere else to go and get the proper medication?
From my experience, that's what I do.
Okay.
There's money-saving tips out there.
There are money-saving tips.
Oh, there are.
Do you put some of those tips and pieces of advice or maybe resources for people on your website?
We are basically putting the information on as we're going. We have recently restructured the website, so we have helpful resources on there and links. There is a great nonprofit out there called Georgia's Legacy, which we have on our resource page, that has a lot of information out there where you can get help, and also some great tips and veterinary tips as well.
So they can log on to Paws for a Cure. That's the number 4.org.
That is correct.
And they can be linked up with that. So all of the money that you raise at an event such as the Paws for a Cure Walk, which is coming up May 15th, what does the money go to?
We use the money to help pay for veterinary care for the dogs and cats that are in need of assistance. We've had people that call us, email us, wanting to get help for an ear infection. Their dog has a really bad ear infection, but they don't get paid for a few weeks, and they don't have the money to help the dog. So we're there to help in the interim. We've had people email us looking for help. The dog has cancer. The dog has a blood disorder. Has different diseases in need of help. And there's certain things that we don't cover. We don't cover spaying and neutering and euthanasia and outstanding veterinary bills.
Why wouldn't you cover something like a spay or a neuter?
There are other organizations that can help, and a lot of times the veterinary offices have a spaying and neutering program. There's also the animal rescue leagues. They have different things out there that can help with that.
What is the process like for somebody who's seeking financial assistance from your organization?
They'd have to go online and file an application for assistance. Right now, we are in need of volunteers to actually process the application. So we're having they have to process through another organization, and then they can apply to us, and then we can help out with financial assistance at that point.
How many people do you have working for you?
We have a board of directors, and they're all volunteer basis, including myself, and we have a board of directors of 8 people.
Wow, so all those 8 people are really heavily involved.
They sure are.
And there's still plenty of work that needs to be done.
Oh, there sure is. We are always in need of volunteers for administrative work and also for work at the events, blowing up balloons, passing out posters for the walk. There's always need of volunteers.
And this might be a good time to reiterate that there are high school students that often need a community service requirement for graduation.
We actually use quite a few of them, and we give references. We've used it also for a Girl Scout troop. They have come in to the walk a few years ago, and they could receive their badge for community service. So we've done a lot with the community, and Paws for Cure is really involved with community. We like to use local businesses, promote local businesses as well, because financially a lot of people are hurting these days, and we need to be able to help.
And that's another point that everybody brings up, and I say it week after week. People are saying that the state of economy, is just not good, but people do find ways to at least contribute whatever they can.
That's correct.
And
I always say to people when they say they can't donate a lot of money, I'm like, it's not about the lot of money. $1 is more than $1 we had before to help.
Exactly. Every little bit counts. Now, when you're assisting somebody who is trying to get the finances to treat their pet, is there like a certain amount that they're limited to receive? Is there like a cap?
It all depends on the situation. We're still in the works of that, trying to figure out what it would be the best policy with that. But as of right now, it all depends on what is needed. What we're doing as well is that if we don't have the funds available within Paws for a Cure, we will fundraise for them. That will be online. That will be via a newsletter. So things are we're getting improvements as months go on.
How many animals have you helped out over the last 4 years?
We have helped, there has been quite a few through another organization. I would say more than 50.
Wow. That's a substantial number.
And it's wonderful that we were able to help them. I wish we didn't have to, but there is a need for it, unfortunately.
We're chatting with Kerry Goldman. She is the president and founder of Paws for a Cure, located in Wakefield, Massachusetts. And I know you like to keep things local, but you also do expand into the United States because there's a whole list of other states that you get involved with for similar organizations across the country. Upcoming on May 15th,